Hello, welcome back. Today I would like to talk about creating for yourself first, and also that you don't need to be an expert in anything. You can just become an expert in yourself and finding solutions for your own life. And I really like this idea. It actually came from Michelle Rohr from the Secret Owl Society. That's where I first heard about it. And I've been thinking about this more myself as well, because I noticed that quite often, if I solve a problem for myself, then I'm done with it and I just move on and I don't even want to keep thinking or talking about it anymore. But quite a lot of the advice online is to find something that you solved for yourself and then package that and sell it as a course, for example, and talk about it. So something that you can be the expert in. But the problem is that quite often I find it more interesting to talk about or think about the things that are going on for me right now, rather than something that's already done and dusted. So I don't know, maybe you can relate to this. I do actually, my interests do go in circles sometimes. So I do come back to old things again and again. And which is funny because I read a book once called Refuse to Choose by Barbara Sher. And I actually made a video about this as well. I can leave a link in the show notes. And one thing that really helped me from this book was the message that you don't need to have only one interest and stick to it, but that you can actually have lots of many different interests, which is wonderful, I think. And that it's even a good thing to have loads of different interests and use all of them, like use all the colors in your crayon set and not only one of them. And in her book, she goes on about explaining, she calls these people scanners that have many different interests and often quite skim something only and then move on to the next thing. And then she has different types of scanners as well. And one of them is a cyclical scanner, and that's the one that I thought was most suitable for my type of learning and even experiencing life. And it's just going from like maybe having a handful of different interests, 6 or 7 interests, and then keep circling back to them over and over again over a few months or a year. So I usually deep dive into one thing for a while, and sometimes that's only for a few days, sometimes for a few weeks, sometimes for longer. And then at some stage, I just lose interest and I move on to the next thing. And then to the next thing again. And it just goes on like this until I come back to one of the old interests again. And I think if you are like this, you can even build a business. It's just, it's very different the way you go about it. Because first of all, you have to give yourself permission to be like this and to be okay with it and not beat yourself up for having a different way of thinking and operating. And also, you can enjoy like the richness of this, because one of the things that Barbara Sher talks about in her book as well is to have like I think she calls it a scanner project book, where you write down all your projects. And what I made out of this over the years is I turned this into idea books, which are kind of basically notebooks that I keep all my ideas in. And whenever I have an interest or an idea, I just write it all down there. And then I just turn the page and write the next things down. So over time, the whole book fills with all my different ideas, but I can even go back and leave back to, like, for example, if I'm interested in cooking healthy meals again, then I can go back a few pages and see when I was interested in it the last time, and I get inspired from that again. And so I do actually progress in all my interests, and I build up something. Even if it's not very linear, I keep progressing in all these interests over time. And I've seen this. And this idea book really helps me to see this and to kind of stay on track in a way, because it's all in there and I can go back and find it again. So, and I also made another video about idea books if you want to check it out. So I leave another link in the show notes. Yeah, but what I actually wanted to talk about today, I started this podcast a few times, this episode a few times today, and I feel very rambly today. So I feel like I can't really stay on track very well, but that's okay. I try to be okay with this too. Because, what I want to talk about is creating for yourself first, and also finding a way that works for you, like building a business or creating in a way that works for you. Because you can find a lot of information online. Whenever you have a problem, you want to find out something, you can just Google it or ask AI and you get all the answers and all the facts. But sometimes that might not even help you. Or it could even make you feel worse because you feel that there are all the answers in front of you and they're still not helping you and you still don't know how to move forward. But maybe that's because you need to find your way of operating. You need to find something that suits your personality. If you start creating for yourself first, and maybe recording episodes for yourself or writing for yourself, you are basically finding solutions for your own problems and answering your own questions. And I find this so valuable because over time you can collect all your great ideas and epiphanies and everything that you find out about life and about yourself. And you can share this with others and it might help them too. And you also build something that you can always look back on and you can always listen to again or read again whenever you need it. For me, it's really helpful to work like this recently. I didn't always do this in the beginning. I was definitely like writing all my blog posts more like for an audience and thinking what would they like to see and what do they want to see more of. And I'm still doing this a little bit because on my blog I have all these crafts and journaling topics and they're all doing well on Pinterest. And I earn money with it, so I want to keep going with it for now. And there are my interests as well, but I feel I'm moving a little bit more into a different direction now where I want to talk more about different processes of being creative and working and sharing everything that I find out along the way. So I think for now I'm going to do both of them. I have my blog, my channel, and post my crafts whenever I feel inspired to do this. And then I also record these spontaneous episodes for anyone who's interested, and first and foremost for myself. So, and if you would like to try this as well, I can highly recommend it. And you don't have to do it publicly either if you don't like to do that. But it would be a pity because I think if you actually allow yourself to share your voice and your opinion, somebody might benefit from it. And you don't know, maybe there's someone who needs to hear exactly what you have to say. And it would be so sad if you just kept it somewhere and nobody else can hear about it. So I hope you will give it a try and allow your voice to be heard. Okay, thanks very much for listening, and I talk to you soon again.